never heard that, but that's the origin of CAP. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
There's a principle that
Right.
we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
Be true to yourself. You don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was a mess.
Deep in here now. Now
It's incredible.
I love it. Me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And applying the recovery out there.
Sweet. What a cool opening.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Whatever time you watch this, this is Steve and Tamara bringing Texas Pictures Documentaries to our Getting the Heard podcast. So we're super fortunate to have them here. They've been here for the past 3 days recording stories of fentanyl overdose awareness. And welcome.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here. Grateful.
So if you could just tell us who you are, where you came from, how you got here, anything.
Well, we're based in Houston, Texas, but we travel all over the country recording these stories about interviews with people who have lost someone, lost a loved one to fentanyl poisoning, fentanyl overdose. We create these stories, put them on our YouTube channel, and they get a lot of attention. It typically, well, our channel averages over 1 million views a month.
I've seen that. That's so amazing because we try so hard, and that's tough. I don't know how you do it, but
I don't know how we did it either. I have no clue. The way it started, we were hired by the Houston division of the DEA to create these stories at an event that the DEA was putting on in Houston, a family summit for families that lost someone to fentanyl. And they hired us to come and record stories with the people who attended the event who wanted to. And we did, and put them on our YouTube channel, and they took off. So we kept doing it.
like, how long have you been doing this on YouTube?
A little over 2 years. It really started in December of 2022.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
It's crazy that when that happened, when we started doing the fentanyl stuff, we had 1,600 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us 9 years to accumulate those. And at the time, it felt like that was a lot.
Right.
And so now, since we started doing the fentanyl stuff and related stuff like the addiction recovery series and the human trafficking series, since we started doing those things, over the last 2 years, our subscribers have grown to over 161,000.
That is amazing.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's a tough nut to crack. YouTube is, for a lot of people.
I wish I could give you a insight. It just happened,
right?
And we just kept with it.
So, what's your background in video production, documentary making? I'm really curious about that because you seem like you really know what you're doing, and we've been fortunate enough to see the behind the scenes progress.
Well, I started in video production in 1988. I studied filmmaking and journalism in college, and I started off by doing a lot of industrial stuff, and most of my career has been industrial stuff, training and safety videos, business to business, promotional kind of videos, things like that. And in the course of doing that, I've gotten to travel a lot. I've gotten a lot of exposure to different kinds of environments and different kinds of different styles of production. A training video for a captive audience is way different from a promotional video for an audience at a trade show. And so there's this weird skill set that I accumulated over the years, I suppose. But my passion has always been documentaries, stories that are substantial, not just how to rebuild a transmission, but things with substance, like how to have a better life, how to protect yourself, how to avoid the dangers of addiction, how to start a recovery process, how to prepare for a night being out so that you're not at risk of in a situation where you have to drive while you might be impaired. Things like that, things that might help make people's lives better. That's always where my passion has been. And once in a while, I would get to do those things. But now, with the fentanyl series and the other ones, the addiction recovery series and the human trafficking series, that's pretty much all we're doing. So I'm really kind of living the dream.
I believe it. It's really wild to see you guys work. I mean, that's one of the most well thought out sets I've seen somebody use. I've tried to observe as much as I can, but
yeah, it's necessity makes it work that way.
Right.
That getting on an airplane with all of that stuff, you really start thinking, okay, how can I get by with just less?
Right.
So like our set has 2 lights. It really should have a hair light.
Mm.
I think there should be a hair light. But
post-production right there.
But yeah, we keep it real simple because we travel a lot. And some when it's a road trip, we can load down the car.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're flying, every bag costs money, and every bag makes the load of bags harder to manage, and so we trim it back a little bit.
Have you ever forgotten something really important when you're out somewhere? Because I know we do.
Holy cow! Yeah,
That's why we have the small black box that we have now.
I love that box. That is
Yeah,
so
we have a big
It is,
one
isn't it?
that we use. That's much better. Only somebody left it when we got on a plane to go somewhere.
So just doing my job, which is kind of similar to what you guys do. Like we have people come here and tell stories, some of which are just heartbreaking. Some of them are exalting and enthusiastic and exciting, but sometimes we just hear stuff that I take home with me. And I was just wanted to ask how you guys deal with that, what you do to deal with that. We call it secondary trauma. We just learned about that recently in a training we had here.
right. It is. Yeah, it's a thing. We hear a lot about tragedy. We hear from a lot of people who have been through terrible losses, lost a loved one, usually a son or daughter, and it's tough to hear those stories, but at the same time, I know where it's going in terms of I know what kind of I don't know if reward is the right word, but I know that it's doing something for the family member who's telling the story as the mother or father talks about their loss and talks through everything that happened leading up to the loss and everything that happened after the loss. As they go through those things and get to really unload, it helps them feel better. Maybe they only feel better a short time. Maybe it's just the 10 minutes or so that they're around visiting with us before they leave after they've done their interview. But for that 10 minutes or for however long, they feel a little better, and we got to help them draw some sort of small value out of their loss that might help someone else. And so the stories are hard to hear, but I also get to see that reward from helping them. And that's a really big deal. And then when we put them on our channel and they start drawing comments from viewers, it happens again.
Right.
The storyteller gets to read all of these supportive, sympathetic, Me Too kinds of comments that come in after people have watched their story, and that helps the storyteller.
Right.
So there's a great reward to it that far outweighs the difficulty of hearing about their loss.
That's really insightful. That's.
But the editing part, just walking in, seeing him edit and watching a tough scene over and over. And he's definitely struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he has to get up and go get another cup of coffee.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's tough. But some of the people have said things in their in their interview that they've shared that. They said, I've never shared that before. And it really helps them with processing.
Right.
And it gives them a memory back, I think, that they can show that say, this was my child.
Mm-hmm.
This was my loved one. And they can see because they want their loved one remembered.
Right. Right.
And they have a way to do that.
That's so awesome what you guys do with that. I mean, it takes bravery, I think, for y'all to confront these stories. And I'm so proud of y'all for doing that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's the kind of thing where we feel like we can't not do it now.
Right.
That we, I joke about it. I say that we're fentanyl famous.
Yeah.
Because we're known within the fentanyl community, and they're all such wonderful people, and I'm really, really grateful for this opportunity to help them.
Do you hear back from people afterwards, like down the road?
Yeah, all the time. We have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group that's made up almost entirely of people who've shared their stories with us, or people who want to share their stories with us whenever we get to their part of the world,
right?
Their part of the country. And so, like, there'll be someone in Chicago who's part of the group who's just waiting to see when we're going to be in Chicago, and when we're in Chicago, that person will sign up to share their story.
Awesome.
So right now the group has around 420 people in it.
Wow.
And about a third of them are people who've shared their stories, and the rest are people who want to. And there's a couple of counselors in there as well, and a couple of law enforcement types.
Okay.
So it's a great group.
We also, we stay in touch through that group, but we also like to meet up with the people. We kind of go somewhere. If we come back again to an area, we always have a dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And we invite the people, if we're in that area, if you've already shared your story, come back and come to dinner.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we've had some that have given us follow-up stories and things that maybe their case had not come forward. They have new information. And so we've done some follow-ups with some people as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you've created like a sense of community through this catharsis, I guess, like getting
For
these stories
sure.
out, bringing something positive out of something that's not. How long does it take you to process all the interviews you did, say, in the last 3 days?
Life.
Really? to edit them down? And
typically the total editing time is probably between 4 and 6 hours per story.
mm-hmm.
It varies a lot, and we have 3 editors who do the first pass on the story, and I don't know for sure how long they spend, but I know when I get it back from them, I still spend an hour or 2 or 3 going through and making tweaks that just suit me better.
I would do the same thing.
Because I'm high commander, and
it's hard not to. That becomes like you get attached to the.
It's like my baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We would like to pause and take a quick second to shout out our sponsors. We wouldn't be here without our sponsors, so we're very grateful for those that have sponsored the podcast. The McShin Foundation's Getting the Heard podcast would not be here without our sponsors, our beautiful sponsors. So first, we'd like to say thank you to Avenues Treatment Center. If you are looking for treatment, they have mental health and substance use, primarily substance use disorders, but they will help with mental health as well. They do have detox. Give them a call, 804-638-7329, and you can ask for Kelly Eason. Reach out to Avenues Treatment Center. And up next is New Growth Behavior Health. New Growth Behavior Health is located here in Richmond, Virginia. They are a local treatment Center. Please give them a call, 804-250-6028. We would not be here without our sponsors. They help with substance use disorders. Please give them a call at 804-250-6028. That's New Growth Behavior Health. Thank you, New Growth Behavior Health. And if you're looking for any services, give them a call. They do take insurance. And we also would like to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Align Community and Treatment Services. They are another local treatment services for substance use disorder here in the Richmond, Virginia. Please give them a call if you're looking for some services. There's a wide variety of options here in the Richmond area. So you're very, very fortunate if you are suffering from substance use disorder. So give Align Community and Treatment Services a call. They also take insurance, 804-214-6460. So if you're looking for any help, any services to help with addiction, to help with mental health, give our sponsors a call. All of them work hand in hand with helping individuals with substance use disorder and individuals with mental health disorders. Once again, that's Avenues Treatment Center, 804-638-7329. New Growth Behavior Health, 804-250-6028. And Align Community and Treatment Services, 804-214-6460. We're going to thank you to our sponsors out there. And now back to our program.
Well, yeah, 15 years ago or so, we started doing work with law enforcement, and we did a lot of. I remember this guy. We started working with law enforcement back in. Well, more than 15 years ago now. 2007, 2008, we were working with law enforcement, and that was mostly with the Houston Police Department's DWI task force. And through that, we developed contacts with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and we started doing a lot of work for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And between those things, over the last 15 years or so, we've been doing a lot of DWI-related stories. DWI is a big thing. It kills 10,000 people a year. And so we've done a lot related to that. For MAD, we did a series of productions that were specifically for law enforcement audiences. That the productions were to be used during roll call meetings with law enforcement, and as a way to reinforce the importance of enforcing the existing DWI laws. So we did a big giant road trip for them for that, all in the middle of COVID, which was
2020.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many miles did we drive? Was it
6,000?
Yeah, it was between 6,000 and 7,000, something like that, as a road trip.
Jeez.
Doing that.
It was cool. It was a cool adventure.
And you were telling me something really cool about a CBS that did a documentary of your documentary, like within your documentary.
Yeah, the Houston CBS affiliate did a documentary about fentanyl and how dangerous it is, and how it's claiming so many lives. And it's a 30-minute documentary. There's a link to it on our channel on YouTube, and 4.5 minutes or so of the documentary is devoted to talking about the work that we're doing with the fentanyl poisoning series that we're producing. It's way cool.
Awesome.
Wish we could show it.
If we'd had more time, I'd have it queued up right now.
And yep, I've done videos on synthetic cannabinoids, and
that's an up and coming issue out there for sure.
Yeah, no, it used to be the big thing until fentanyl came along.
Right.
The synthetic cannabinoids, the K2, Spice, Kush. There's all kind of slang terms for it, but we made a documentary about that in 2017, I believe. And when we made that documentary, it was for the city of Baytown, which is a city right next to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And we made that documentary with a team of high school student volunteers. 11 or so.
Awesome.
And it was we've done that 3 times now. We've made 3 documentaries with teams of teenage volunteers, and they're not they're not documentaries that you would look at and say, oh, well, that's nice for something teenagers did. It's not that at all. These teenage volunteers were all teens who had career interest in video production or journalism or law enforcement or counseling, something like that. And so there's always a few team members that really rise and contribute in really substantial ways that's very cool.
We've got one on the show with us today, Tamara over there. She's one of our college volunteers, and alumni of McShin family wise. So we're all for that. We're trying to do the same kind of thing here, bring more people into this to
right, very cool.
Spread the wealth, and get force multiplication of.
It's such an important thing, and with topics like that, having teenagers involved is they have an insight that is unique to teenagers.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know when it comes to the perspective that high school students now have.
Right. Different way to look at it, and they bring different things to the production, I'm sure.
Right. And so with the teams that we had, we've done 2 documentaries about DWI and one about synthetic cannabinoids that had teams of high school students. And there's a couple of team members one of the team members got a college scholarship that her mother said was because of the documentary.
Wow.
She went to Ithaca College in New York. And after she graduated, she went to work at Showtime.
Man.
There's another one who is, she's a producer at the Hallmark Channel in Los Angeles now.
Wow. Success,
So yeah, there's always a few who I'll watch what they're doing and I'll kind of feel like, I could wind up working for her one day.
Tables will be turned. She'll be re-editing your work.
Maybe.
You never know. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're all they've all been spectacular in one way or another.
Fantastic.
Prevention is key.
Yes.
And catching these and talking about these things that we're involved in. We're involved with Fentanyl Fathers, whose goal is to get in every high school in the United States to talk about these fake pills that kids think they're getting an Adderall or a Xanax, and they're not. It looks the same. The pill presses, you can't tell when you look, and it's killing our youth. So education, there's some groups we have, the young girls that had started a group in the high schools. And so they have an organization that they're actually, as part of Fentanyl Fathers, being in the high schools, mentoring other people in the high schools to help them, because that's who they're going to talk to and who they're going to listen to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're a very cool group. They're called SAFE, Students Advocating Fentanyl Education.
I'm going to check them out. That's awesome. That is cool. Well, I'm going to share that page now, so you can tell our viewers out there.
Okay, this at the top of the page. There's the first 4 documentaries. Sidetracked was a documentary about distracted driving. We produced that for AAA. AAA hired us to produce that. The next one is End of Watch, the Kevin Will story. That's a story of a police officer who's killed by a drunk driver. And we created that documentary that has obviously won a few awards.
Yeah, I see that.
We created that documentary just because it was an important story. We weren't hired for it. We just felt motivated to do it. The Last High is the synthetic cannabinoids documentary that we were talking about with the team of high school students.
Right.
The one after it, 10,000 Lives, that's about drunk driving. That is another one done with a team of high school students. Chronicles of a Teen Killer is 10,000 Lives is sort of a sequel to Chronicles of a Teen Killer. There's 9 years of time in between the two. Chronicles is the first project we did with a team of high school students. And the goal of that was to reduce DWI fatalities, just like 10,000 Lives. The MAD law enforcement series is the series that we were talking about, that the audience is really law enforcement, to show during roll call meetings. And there's, I want to say, 9 or 10 different stories in that series that we made during COVID. Echoes in the Wilderness. Holy cow, that was quite a while ago. That's a story of the impact of seismic exploration on publicly owned lands.
You guys cover some territory, like subject wise. It's amazing, really.
It happens, yeah. It's pretty mad. And the new project concepts, there is within that link is just some ideas we have about documentary about PTSD among law enforcement, documentary about domestic violence, and I don't really remember what else is behind that link.
And we've got YouTube links. They can check your videos out. Is YouTube the best place to watch you guys?
Yeah, that's the easiest place. If you find our channel, just you can search for fentanyl poisoning and you'll find our channel pretty quick. But you can just look for search for Texas Pictures Documentaries and find us.
That's what I did. I found you on Facebook and YouTube quite easily.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So under that is playlists. So when you go to the channel and you look there, there's a playlist, and then you can pick by subject of the videos that you'd like to watch.
Is it just you and Sheri that do like the main work besides your editors?
Pretty much. The editors do a lot, but for the most part, it's me and Sheri. Sheri is vital to everything that's going on because she just somehow has a better grasp of all the variables than I do. But yeah, it's mostly us. We have someone who's managing other social media, TikTok and I don't know, Twitter and
there's a time consuming.
And he's doing great with that. He's one of our editors, and he's doing that. But we manage YouTube and Facebook, and
for the first year, Glen did it all as far as all of the editing. So we've only had the editors for a year and a half.
So how many days off have you taken in the past few years?
Only if we're on a cruise, and then he really doesn't.
He doesn't.
He really, it's 7 days a week.
When we go on a cruise, my wife, among all the other things that she does, she's a travel agent, and so we do go on cruises, kind of frequently.
Wow!
But
and a travel agent.
What happens? Yeah, but what happens is when a cruise is coming, the week or two leading up to the cruise, I start trying to pile up programs to release while I'm on the cruise so that we can publish stuff to our channel regularly, even when we're tied up. We have these little mini vacation moments that get, we're based in Houston, and here we are in Virginia. We originally we planned to take a day here, and it didn't work out that way because the schedule got so full. But a lot of times we will take a day or a couple of days that is not working and go do something that has to do with whatever part of the country we're in. Wow. Go explore something.
Yeah, that's an amazing opportunity to see the country and work and heal families, save lives like we do. That's it.
Yeah, he's also very, I guess, involved in reading all of the comments from the stories
Mhm.
and responding to, and so that gets to be bigger every month because there's more stories
Right.
every month. But he's careful to watch for things that are said that are not nice or whatever, and
Yeah.
having to delete those. And so he protects his storytellers.
I see that.
Of course.
That's important.
We average about 1,500 comments a week.
Jeez. I should have asked, do you sleep?
Yes.
He does.
It's and so I try to touch each of them. I read them all or skim them, and if it's hurtful toward the storyteller, even if it may be accurate, we still delete it. There's nothing you can tell someone who lost a loved one to fentanyl. There's nothing you can tell them that they haven't already thought of,
Right.
as far as responsibility or what you should have done different. It's just stupid to make comments like that.
It amazes me that people take the energy to do something negative like that.
Yeah.
It's just.
But we also hear comments. We also get comments sometimes that are just so insanely inaccurate that that we delete them, or we will leave them but add comments to them to make sure that anyone who read them knows that it's inaccurate. Like we'll get comment. There was a comment once from someone who said the way that you can identify if a pill that you buy on the street is counterfeit is by putting it in Sprite.
Oh my goodness.
And if it floats,
urban mythology strikes again.
yeah, it's crazy.
But that can cost people's lives
Yes.
because they believe that
Yes.
when they read it.
Right. One is too many. Way too many.
So stuff like that we delete.
So,
We get
I think we should probably wrap up. I guess you guys got a
Yeah.
dinner
Yeah,
date
yeah.
for your.
We do with our storytellers, with the ones who can join us.
That's really awesome. You guys are like full spectrum production. I mean, just impressive to see it in action. We're so grateful to have you here at McShin, and thank you for coming and joining our podcast,
Appreciate you having us. For sure.
allowing us to be behind the scenes and learn from y'all. I mean, it's been an amazing experience
It
for
was
us.
a wonderful experience.
Tamara has one more question for
Yeah.
you.
Is there anything that we didn't ask you that we should have?
Holy cow,
That's
that sounds way familiar.
Yeah.
We learned the best.
Hey. Yeah. No, I don't
It's a
think
tough question.
It is. It is.
Get put on the spot.
That's a
Icing
good
on the
one.
cake.
That's funny. That's funny. No, I think that. Well, we haven't turned anyone away who wants to share a story.
Really, that's
And-
insightful.
One day it's going to happen, I'm sure,
Right.
but we haven't done it yet, and it's important to me to keep it that way. And anyone who wants to share a story, we'll work with them to try to make it happen. That's part of why we have the Facebook group.
Right.
So if we hear from someone in Duluth, Minnesota who wants to share their story, we'll tell them, well, there's no plans to go to Duluth, but you can join our group. And as interest grows, when there's enough people in Duluth for us to come tell a story, you'll be aware of it.
Right.
So
good answer to the toughest questions we've asked all day right there. Well, Sheri and Glen, Texas Pictures Documentaries, please check them out. Thank you so much for joining us.
thank you.
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Have a safe trip back and a great night tonight.
Thank you.